a with a very relevant subject for your time. For you who have incarnated now upon the earth, you have come for a very special reason. You are the bringers of the new light. We can say that you are bringing the birthing of the new earth, the new consciousness upon the earth, the Christ consciousness, the bringing of the divine consciousness into the human consciousness. You might say, oh, that sounds really nice. That's going to be all lovely and you know, it's going to be easy because the Christ consciousness is so powerful. But think back, beloved, as you know so well about what happened, or many times actually, when different beings have brought the Christ consciousness onto the earth, and the most famous one being, of course, Yeshua or Jesus, in the different ways that his name is spoken. And Mary Magdalene, who is coming now to give you more information about how it really was in those times. And think how challenging that was. And that was 2,000 years ago, and there were others before that. And so understand that the bringing of the Christ consciousness, this is why you're here. You all know it. You know, you understand, you have it within you. It is why you're here. You are leaders, you are seers, you know, your energy bodies have absorbed that consciousness, and now you're doing this big task of bringing this radiance to literally, you know, emanate throughout all possible levels of humanity, into all cultures, into all traditions, into all peoples, all places. It can come through religion, and it can come without religion. It can come through all kinds of consciousness. So I'm really talking about consciousness, and especially this concept of tie cutting. Now, this is not the kind of normal cord cutting of a personal relationship only, but it is about personal relationship. It is about your personal relationship with your higher self and your wounded self, or the part of you that is unconscious or lives, we could say, in the dark. So I've called it tie cutting with the dark forces, both in the sense that you have to understand that dark place within you that is universally present in every single being, and the fact that it is manifest by the fact of unconsciousness of those dark forces, which for the majority of humanity, you know, they are unconscious of what is broken or lost or hidden inside. And what happens therefore is, because that place is not owned, then it becomes available. It becomes, because there's no consciousness guarding and protecting that place, it becomes a gateway, a gaping gateway that allows the generic dark forces to enter in and make even more painful what was already painful deep within. It's almost as though the human being has to go to the extreme of the dark in order to find the light. And this happens in many different expressions. But what is so important in this work is to remember you actually are the light. There's no question about that. You emanate from the source of light, of the Christ light, of the creator light, of the solar logos, the cosmic central sun. It's not really, you know, I know that you do, in a certain sense, personify and deify and personalize God, goddess. But this energy of the divine, this is beyond humanity. This is beyond, you know, man, woman expression. This is the vast cosmic presence of the Christ light. This is the creator being, and you, each one, are an expression of that Christ light, of that creator being. Now, when you come to earth, of course, what happens is most people forget who they are, and they spend a lot of time trying to remember. And it is, in fact, often the encounter with darkness that awakens you, or we could say the pain body, or the place within that is unhappy, that is carrying the burden. and is in fact, as it were, in the dark, unconscious, unaware of this pain. Often the pain is hidden. It can be a pain from childhood. It can be a wounding. It can be abuse. There can be, you could say, justifiable reasons to feel that pain, or it might be very unclear. What on earth? I had a good childhood. I had a wonderful parenthood, good family. Why am I suffering in this way? So there are many different reasons why, when you come to earth as a light worker, which all of you who come on here are, you are not drawn to me unless you are already, in that sense, working on yourself, bringing that light in, and interested to know how to do it better, more powerfully, how to empower yourself in these times. So how to tie cut with the dark forces. And that does mean also how to empower within you the beautiful places that are hidden in the darkness, that are wounded, in pain, your inner child, past life wounding, ancestral wounding, all kinds of wounding that you have come to heal. And so the tie-cutting is, in a sense, tie-cutting from the unconsciousness of those places and a bringing in of your higher self-consciousness to embrace, to meld in, to hold, and to dissolve the darkness that then allows the light that is hidden inside those so-called negativities to rise up and to unify again with your divine self. In that way, you lift your frequency, but you can't really do it without some kind of encounter with the unconsciousness that we call the dark forces. Now, there is darkness that is simply darkness and unconsciousness, but then there is the fact that there are beings, entities, and we can say they are lost souls. Sometimes we can say they are actually vacant souls, so lost that they have nothing left of themselves. They've left all themselves behind. You could say they are disconnected from the source. They are tumbling through the astral plane, gripping on. And that's where, as a light worker, you have to know how to protect yourself, because they're going to try and make a grab for you unless your light is very strong. And so I teach you the way to protect yourself, to understand your energy body, to understand your light body, your astral body, and that all this is going on the inner plane. And in a certain sense, it's invisible until you become conscious of it. And so these encounters with the dark forces, they are how you become conscious of it. Unless you experience it and, in a sense, have the shock of it as a light worker, you don't realize the intricacy and the intelligence and the deviousness of these dark forces that are able to clothe themselves. Sometimes you could say, put on the sheep's clothing over the hungry, voracious wolf. Or you could say the false light. They wear the false light. They pretend to be the light. They lure you in with promises of more light or more something. But actually, when you wake up to it, you realize it was all false. It was all lies. And you have had something robbed from you in the meantime. Sometimes that is your health. Sometimes that is your safety, your feeling of peace. Sometimes that is actual money or objects of great value. Sometimes that is even a relationship. There are so many different ways. And you see what those dark forces that are the evil, if you like, the beings who have become evil, which is really to say the reverse of life. Evil is just the unconsciousness is now harming you in order to extract the demon's food. What is the demon's food? That is the pain, the suffering, the fear, the rage, and the shock, the horror, the feeling of disempowerment, and that's really what happens when you realize you have been duped or double-crossed, or you've had something stolen from you when you were just opening up in goodness and kindness to receive some light, or so it was supposed to be. And so you got to understand that's how the dark forces work. They kind of get you involved so that you let them do. You become their partner. You help them. You aid them. And so what matters really is to know, well, by what means should I know that these are dark forces or that they mean me no good? Well, very simply because of the light, the love, as juxtaposed to the darkness, the fear, the lostness, and the damage, the harm, the pain. And to realize, well, that's your great power is to be one with the divine. That's always your great power. All your life, really affirm that. Really remember you have that divine right. You are born of the Christ light, of the creator light, the center of the cosmos, the solar logos, the central creation being at the center of the cosmos. And so once you really can believe that and know that and you affirm that, and it does take affirmation, because you will find there is wounding and all kinds of ways where you think, well, I'm not good enough to be a divine being. I mean, look at me, I've got chaos all around me. I mean, how can I be a divine being? But you see, it's the truth. You are a divine being, and you're here to manifest that, and that is the incredible test and journey and evolutionary process that you are in. So I'm bringing you a lot of tools to help you to evolve, to help you bring your higher self in, to help you understand your energy body, to realize that you can be proactive, that there's no situation which you cannot enter into with the light of your higher self and transform. And that whatever you may feel in that sense, because, you know, the dark forces are very good at making you feel that they've won. That you're disempowered, you can't do anything, it's all too much, it's too powerful, and that they got control of everything, they got the money, they got everything, you know, they got the power. They're so negative, you see, and negative power is very strong in your world. And so within you, you have to understand your mind, you have to understand your heart, your beliefs. You have to really, in that sense, fight not to be overcome by that sense of, I'm so burdened, I'm so laden with fear, with worry, with anxiety, guilt, shame. I don't know how to even lift myself up. So I give you a number of practices, beloved. A lot of tie cutting practices are necessary in your time, and I have amassed them all with this beloved Jerome, who makes them available for you in the most wonderful form. And I really recommend that you become specialists in tie cutting in this time, my kind. Of course, there are many wonderful offerings in your world, and you have probably done all kinds of work on yourself if you're here. But this one in particular is very important because of the presence of this dark force upon the earth, which every single human being has to take responsibility for. It's not out there, it's not them, it's you. It's realizing that when you do the work on yourself, you start to reclaim the power to deflect, literally with your light, that darkness. And to bring that light, once you have deflected what you could say looks like an external darkness, a feeling of being attacked, a feeling of being invaded. Once you've deflected that seeming outer darkness, you realize, wait a minute, I've got this inner place that you start to realize as you work to protect yourself. You realize, wait a minute, actually the law of magnetism is in operation, because I have got this place inside me of pain already. I've got this fear of the darkness. I've got this fear of not being good enough, not in control, not able to bring this light, which I'm talking about, in. And so that is the kind of partnership, if you like, between the outer and inner darkness, that if you can work to clear your own fear, your own pain, if you can work to bring in your higher self, which I always helping you to do, beloved, that is really my great passion, is to help you recognize your higher self and bring him or her in and really operate your divine power in your human self. Once you realize and you see the place within you that is hurt, wounded, overwhelmed, afraid, hungry for the light, actually, lost, needs that light. Once you realize and you have connection with it and you can bring your higher self in, everything changes in your life. You have to work on yourself. You know that. That's why you're here. So I really want to assist you, and I'm going to remind you today that I'm coming forward from the spirit world, that I am not an incarnate being. I'm a ninth dimensional ascended being. That's mean I don't have to come into your world, but I choose to out of my compassion and love for humanity, and especially because I promised many of you who have been with me in other lives that I would do this, that I would become available to you personally, that I would help guide you through these difficult times and bring you tools, ways to work that are really powerful, and that if you do them every day, they change your life. So I am coming forward both to individually, guide you, personally show you the places where you have to fortify yourself and bring the light in, help you to recognize yourself as that divine being from the source of creation. And also, I'm bringing in a journey, a longer process where I'm going to be holding your hand, you could say, guiding you along the path, coming in every day of your life, bringing you the feeling of my presence, because you're a feeling being. It matters that you can emotionally connect with your higher self, and Changfu helps you do that, and helps you also by reaching out inside and opening up your emotional body to receive the light of your higher self. So this is really what we're doing together. I'm offering you this 6-month journey where we are working together on a daily basis and getting more and more powerful inside yourself, because that's where you need the power, inside, recognizing more and more how to bring those, well, we can say they are, in a sense, the extremes, the vulnerable inner child, wounded, afraid, triggered into disempowerment, sometimes even paralyzed, and to bring your highest self, to recognize yourself as the divine being you are, and to bring those two together to enable your highest self to hold, embrace, and integrate the being that is hidden, that is also very full of power. There is not a single emotion that is not necessary. You need everything. Your soul has programmed you with everything you need to understand yourself, to understand the divine, and to evolve into the highest frequency of your being. So, beloved, I really look forward as well to meeting you in person if you feel to come forward to work with me. So we have individual sessions in this long immersion journey, but you can also have an individual session to see if that is right for you, if you would like to come on board. There are so many things, so many deep aspects that I want to show you about yourself. And we go deep. We also go into the Akash to see what you're carrying from other lives and to enable you to put it down, because when you can see, then you can work on it. So, beloved, yes, this is a very exciting time for you on earth. It is the time of the complete transition from your lower dimensional human self into the multidimensional divine self. And I would be most honored to work with you in that way.
When you look at the world from this perspective of these other worlds that you're coming from, what is it that is most, what can you see exactly on a light and dark level?
Well, that's a very good question, because what is happening is, in fact, this is only a tiny part of one galaxy. I mean, you're in a corner of just one galaxy out of trillions, billions and trillions of galaxies. So we're focused, I'm here with humanity on the earth. But what's happening is many of the stars and beings in your galaxy are focusing on the earth at this time, coming together, bringing power to the earth and to humanity. And this is what it is within the whole of the cosmos, any place, and there are so many other places where evolution is happening intensely. And many of you are very aware of that. But the thing is that what is happening here is you could say the macrocosm is influencing the microcosm. So the unification of all the star families, the star frequencies that gathering around the earth. And you know yourself, this being, the three-eye Atlas being, this is a direct result of the cosmic intervention from source, bringing a high frequency into the galaxy, well, from another part of the galaxy, but into the Earth's field and into this solar field. So now is the time for you to awaken, to receive the energy of this being, and we think there will be other beings coming forward. So it's a very significant time of the unification of all of your solar system, the coming into alignment, and you will find you've got some cosmic alignments coming now into the solar system that you are a part of, and that the Earth is presently, you could say, in the very center of. Peace.
Morella says hi. Morella Joseph, hello.
Greetings, Yuan.
Peace.
Yes, it's a wonderful time. It's an incredible opportunity. The human soul who has chosen the earth to evolve is a very brave and expanded soul, determined to raise your frequency to the highest possible level. That's why you're here. And you're bringing the Christ consciousness, and Chong Fu is working with the Christ consciousness. And those of you who understand, and all of you really who come to watch and listen and partake together, you do understand the Christ conscious is not just Yeshua, it is Mary Magdalene. It is not just the divine masculine, it is the resurrection, we can say, the coming back into power of the divine feminine, and the unification of the divine masculine, divine feminine together upon the earth, that then is radiating out into the whole of the galaxy. That is why you're here, and to be part of that experience is so exciting, so uplifting, so exhilarating. And that is really the focus of my work, to help you lift up into the fullness of your multidimensional, multicolored light being, your higher self, your divine self.
And in your perception of, when clients come forward, do you think there's a good understanding of what tie cutting, cord cutting is? Or
so the thing is, it's my particular way. So yes, there's tie cutting in all kinds of ways, and cord cutting. But what I am doing really is, it's more like a liberation of the soul. It is to become aware of where inside you these attachments are damaging you, and to be able to lift yourself out of that sort of gluey, gloopy, unconscious, energetic stuckness, and to release you and literally lift you up beyond where you can get stuck again. And if you do it, you have to do a tie cutting a few times, which is why you need to kind of have it in your toolkit. But once you got it, you can work with it time and time again, and each time you will have a different part of you that is liberated, and you feel better and better, and your energy rises up and up in the frequency. So it is really a liberation, a soul liberation ceremony. Peace. And I invite you to, come forward and work with me, because there's so much to look into, so much depth to go into. And also I am providing a 6-month journey. I'm opening my doors, you could say, to the sacred temple of evolution here and of light, of Chong Fu, to bring you that inner truth, to bring you to your inner truth, to be able to really embody the fullness of your being. This is 6 months where I am going to come in and really relate very personally with you, help you see deep inside what it is you want to change and how to change it, and to really bring the empowerment of your higher self, to bring the light into those dark places that are really hard to see at times. But as we work together, they start to feel safe to reveal themselves. That's really what happens. The light of your higher self makes it safe as it comes into your body, as you feel more and more you're identifying with your higher self. What it does, it brings light into your heart, into your hara, into your solar plexus, and makes that deep part of you, that lost part of you, feel safe to start expressing the pain, moving the energy, clearing the field so that the light of your higher self can be right inside your body. And once it's in your body, it magnifies your magnetism. It enables you to draw your visions, dreams, and manifestations towards you. So that is another element here that we're working with, putting out some beautiful transmissions from Archangel Raziel, who comes forward also to talk to you about abundance. You know that you want that in your life. You want abundance of everything. And so it's important to know how to go deep and realize you are the source of abundance. But what does that mean? And so we go deep with you to help you unlock the resources that are deep within. Peace.
Yeah, and there's a big theme, I think, moving into this year and it was actually quite a big theme last year. I had a lot of beautiful friends talking about it, this theme of divine union. I mean, how would you strengthen the bonds of love without attachment? I think that's quite a standard thing to say, but in Chung Fu's
Well, exactly
perspective,
that, you see, is what I'm saying. If each one, women and men, if you look inside yourself and you actually do embody your higher self is neither masculine nor feminine. Your higher self is the balance. It's just naturally so. It's how you are. You are the divine goddess, God presence, whether you're a man or a woman. That's your essence. That is your ascended or higher self. So what happens when you invoke the healing of, if you like, the separation which has happened and the kind of adversarial journeys which have happened between man and woman over hundreds of years, as you address that and you realize, wait a minute, I'm just going to work on me. I'm just going to be honest about where I am. I'm going to bring my divine higher self, masculine, feminine, divine, in to embrace the masculine, the feminine, the places where those frequencies are quite in the lower frequencies of manifestation. Because it is when you get into the body, which is the lower frequency, that you start forgetting that you're not just a woman and you're not just a man. You start forgetting that actually you are a divine being who is both masculine and feminine. You've had many masculine lives, feminine lives, but the point really is the opportunity is there for you in the frequency that is being lifted up now upon the earth, that you are part of that lifting up. And this now is the time when you can start to embody the balance between divine feminine, divine masculine within yourself. And because that is what then leads you to create balanced relationship where you're not attached, but you are walking alongside with vast amount of cosmic love flowing through you that enables you to lift up into the ecstasy, the tantric union in the physical plane. So really it's first of all inside that you journey to embody that oneness presence of divine masculine feminine union. And as you journey inside, as you clear old places of pain, which always come up, of course, when you shine the light, guess what? The darkness comes up to be healed in that light. And so as you do that, and we will be journeying a lot with that, you realize, actually, it's all about what's happening inside. It's nothing to do with another person, actually. But as you do that work, of course, you attract to you the perfect partner who is also doing that work. Peace.
perfect. I mean, There's so many ways we can go deep with Chong Fu, and yeah, we love working with you. We're ready to serve. For those who are loving deeply but feel quietly drained, how can they strengthen that love power without attachment?
Well, it's often a number of things. It's physical, emotional, and mental, and of course spiritual. So the first thing is to tune into that part of you that feels drained, because there's a lot of energy draining many souls, and it's not really because you've done anything wrong, or it's just what's going on at the moment, because what's happening with the dark forces who are here on earth, who have been influenced, who are, you could say, being controlled, the human beings who are controlled by the dark forces, is that they're getting desperate. They're running out of steam, you could say. They haven't got the support on the inner plane. And so they're kind of eating more and more, if you like, what we call the demon's food, and trying to make it. In other words, by making you afraid, by making you feel tired, depressed, disempowered. They take all that energy. That is food to them. We call it the demon's food when they cause you great distress, which is an emotional type of substance that they unfortunately feed on. And they take the light through the pain. They take your light through the pain. So it's to realize, all right, wherever I am in my journey, the most important thing is to become aware of this dark place within me, because that is my greatest shield. When I bring the light into that place, there's really nowhere where the dark forces that have accumulated in the general consciousness can get in to feed, because I'm there. I'm guarding it with my consciousness. I'm aware of that in me, and I'm calling upon my higher self. I'm invoking my higher self every day. I'm invoking divine presence, because remember, you are so precious to all the beings of light. The fact that you're willing to work on yourself, to clear the field, and to become the vessels of the light, this is a wonderful thing, and it speaks volumes to your guides and helpers. And so as soon as you are ready, as soon as you have cleared your field, as soon as you are conscious of the possibility of being robbed, taken over, influenced by the unconscious forces, as soon as you realize that, literally your consciousness comes to protect you. And then we have the practices of grounding to make sure that you put the light around you, that you close your chakras, the central chakras, that you bring in the light from your cosmic source, that you surround yourself in blue radiance and in golden radiance, and you put the mirrors around you that deflect anything negative from entering your field. So this work has to be done, beloved. There are no shortcuts. So I really would be most happy to help you if you feel you don't quite understand that. Very happy to guide you along that path, because that is my mission, beloved.